Hey guys, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. I cannot believe it, and I know a lot of people are shocked. So, according to the Daily Beast, the feds say they do not have enough evidence to file charges in the Shanquilla Robinson's death. Can you imagine all these months? And the family has been waiting for justice. They had a tape, they saw the tape of how this child was beaten to death and still they don't have no evidence. The tape is the evidence. So, months after the mysterious death of Shanquilla Robinson in Mexico, Cabo San Luca, the U.S. Attorney's Office in North Carolina has announced that it will not pursue any prosecutions in the case. So, according to the Charlotte Observer, based on the results of the autopsy and after a careful deliberation and review of the investigative materials by both the U.S. Attorney's Office, federal prosecutors informed Ms. Robinson, the family of Shanquilla, they informed the mother today that available evidence does not support a federal prosecution. So the Cabo Six is walking scot-free. So two of the attorneys with the office said in a joint statement that Shanquilla's death while on vacation with 6 friends has triggered a series of conflicting stories with her traveling companions, stating she died of alcohol poisoning. This is what the friend said, even as her autopsy attributed her death to a broken neck. And the family stated they saw bruises consistent with beating on her body. Well, we saw the videotape where she was beaten. So this is what they're saying, that is not conclusive because the evidence does not support prosecution of any of the individuals. Well, I would think if a person shows bruising, their neck is broken, and you got a videotape of a beating, that person has been beaten to death. So even if the friends said that she had alcohol poisoning, I would think the coroner's office would do some type of testing to see if there was alcohol in her system. And I believe they did. So where is the conflict here? I'm not understanding it. Something ain't clean in the buttermilk, folks. So the Robinson family was informed today they're not going to be arresting anyone. So this is coming from the U.S. side, the Attorney General's office. So they're not going to put out an arrest. But on the other hand, the Mexican authorities have issued an arrest warrant for Dejanay Jackson. The Mexican authority did put out an arrest warrant for her. So anytime she gets onto Mexican soil, if ever again, she would be arrested. But in the meantime, the Attorney General's office in North Carolina is saying that they cannot, I guess, extradite her because they're not going to make an arrest. If they had made an arrest and arrested her, then they can extradite her for prosecution in Mexico. But they're saying no arrest will be issued. So where does the family go from here, folks? Here lies a grieving mother and father. They saw the videotape of their child being beaten to death. And yet, this verdict that came in from the Attorney General's office is saying that there is not enough information or evidence. So what do you do as a parent? Now, they had one of the best attorneys, Ben Crump. So I guess they're going to be filing lawsuits. This is what I see coming down the road. Because they have a child who is now deceased and no one is accountable for that death. So according to WRAL News, this is what they reported.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, an update to a big case 6 months ago. The family of Shanquilla Robinson and their attorney spoke today with federal officials and the FBI nearly 6 months after Shanquilla died in Mexico while she was on vacation. This happened back in October. The FBI issued a statement today offering condolences to her family and presented the findings of the federal investigation into her death. They said they did a thorough investigation and found, based on the autopsy, the available evidence does not support a federal prosecution. They say they don't normally issue these kinds of public statements, but because of the circumstances, it was important to reassure the public that charges cannot be pursued. The North Carolina native back in October traveled to Mexico with 6 other friends, and Robinson's death certificate does say that she died 15 minutes after suffering a severe spinal cord injury and broken neck. But again, the FBI saying today that charges cannot be pursued in her death.
I know at this point everyone is scratching their heads and asking themselves, how come charges cannot be filed when there's so much evidence? Guys, drop your comments. I know you all have a lot to say concerning this matter because we all have been looking at this case for about 6 months now. And the family have been waiting for justice. And these 6 individuals who were on the vacation, the retreat with Shanquilla, are walking the streets free, including Dejanay. And so we are disgusted. We are mortified. We are out of words at this point. I'm going to sign out. I'll see you guys on the next video, but please drop your comments. I'm over and out.